This week we won't be covering
Bombings in Texas.
crisis at Facebook,
Putin's win for his election.
another school shooting in the US,
An Australian woman punches a bus driver in the face.
Egypt's election.
We will be covering
From the best news headquarters in the world, this is Breaking News, a recap. Good evening and welcome to the last Breaking News, a recap in this current format. I'm your host, Wesley Newfarmer, and sitting next to me, ever present like the ghost of Eleanor Roosevelt, is my co-anchor, Jessica Pratt.
I don't know what that means, but yes, Wesley, you are correct.
About Eleanor Roosevelt.
No, about the show. This will be our last broadcast in this current format. More details on that later, but first, on with the news.
Trust me, it was a good burn. Australia's Home Affairs Minister, Peter Dutton, sparked international outrage and complete bemusement from locals after he suggested a fast-track visa for white South African farmers who need help from a civilized nation. While there is no denying there's an issue with farmers in South Africa, the thought that they deserve a visa faster than, say, any of the number of brown-skinned immigrants locked up in an Australian-run detention center means that Dutton has finally been able to do what no other human has before him: time travel. Wait, I'm sorry, did that just say white Australia policy?
Hey man, people in glass houses need to put their semi-automatic weapons down.
Judging by that response, I'd say that was a yes.
In the US, similar to the way Al Capone was brought down for income tax evasion and not bootlegging and murder, as might be the case for President Trump. It seems Trump might be in more trouble over his affairs than he could be for colluding with Russians to win an election. 2 women have now come forward to say that money was spent during the campaign to keep them quiet about their affairs with Donald Trump. Technically, this is considered a contribution to the Trump campaign because it was paid for the purpose of influencing voters in a general election and therefore should have been publicly reported. But it wasn't. So what's the lesson we can all take away from this saga? Well, it's quite simple. If you want something done, and I'm talking to you, Robert Mueller and the FBI, send a woman in to do it.
As we mentioned at the start of the broadcast, Breaking News, a recap will be undergoing some major changes over the next few weeks. And it's with a heavy heart that I announce this will be my last broadcast from this location.
This isn't the end, only a new beginning. As they say, when God closes a door somewhere, he opens a window. Someone will have to explain to me what the hell that means and how completely inconvenient it would be to climb out of a window every time you wanted to leave the house. But now, for her final word, we will cross to our sports reporter, Kirin Hilliar.
Thanks, Jessica. I'm here in Cairo, Egypt, the country whose prodigal son, Liverpool striker Mohamed Salah, scored a super hat-trick in his club's 5-0 win against Watford. Mo Salah's popularity in the country continues to increase in the lead-up to the 2018 FIFA World Cup, the first Egypt has qualified for in 28 years. And this is actually my final sports report for Breaking News, as I've been promoted to Director of News in our Cairo studio.
Kirin.
And Jess, before you say something negative like, but Kirin, you don't speak Arabic. Listen to this. Salam alaikum. Ana ismi Kirin. Wa ana journalist. See? Talent like this crosses all linguistic boundaries. So, probing political correspondence, hard-hitting investigative journalism, revelatory exposés holding the authorities to account? Yeah, I value my freedom, so I won't be doing any of that. Masalama!
While we may be in different locations and the show may have a new look, we will continue to uphold our journalistic integrity as per the Breaking News, a recap guidelines. 1. Our primary responsibility is to our viewers. They have the right to know what is happening in society based on the stories we choose to tell them.
2. Decisions concerning the content of communication must be made in accordance with journalistic principles and whatever we can make a joke out of.
3. Any information obtained by us must be checked as thoroughly as possible using a Google search and Wikipedia reference.
4. The public must be able to distinguish facts from fictitious material. Photographic and sound material should never be used in a misleading manner, unless the president does it first and then, well, it's game on.
And finally, we will always endeavor to bring our viewers the most up-to-date and relevant news a good 2 to 5 days after it actually happened, making Breaking News, a recap the only news organization in the industry to do so. Jessica, reporting for the last 2 years alongside you has been an absolute honor for you, I'm sure. I will certainly never forget this experience, no matter how hard I try.
Wesley, I've put up with your nonsensical ramblings for literally years now, and there's only so much one person can take of being in the same room as you.
That's right, Jessica. As we close this chapter of the broadcast, let me leave you with this. A man's word is only as good as his last drink or his last woman. Lucky for me, I had both 5 minutes before we went to air. So that's all the time we have and all the news there is. If you liked our show, please share amongst your friends. If you didn't, maybe this will help.
Hi, how are you?
Tune in soon for more breaking news, a few days after it actually happens.
It's